Welcome back to my channel, Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Johnny Crawford finally talks about Chuck Connors. Johnny Crawford was born John Ernest Crawford on March 26, 1946 in Los Angeles, California. He came into the world as part of a family that was already close to the entertainment business. His mother, Betty Crawford, and his father, Robert Lawrence Crawford Sr., helped and encouraged his early love for acting. His father worked as a film editor and later as a TV producer, which might have made Johnny interested in performing arts early on. Johnny was one of 4 kids growing up with his brothers and sisters, Corridon, Robert Jr., and Nance. His brother, Robert L. Crawford Jr., also became successful as a child actor, especially on the TV show Laramie. The Crawford family came from Russian, English, German, and Irish backgrounds. This mix of cultures might have helped Johnny express himself in different artistic ways throughout his life. Johnny went to Hollywood High School, a famous school that has produced many well-known people in the entertainment world. He finished school in 1964 during a time when his fame as a teenage heartthrob and TV actor was at its highest point. His education there gave him a good foundation, but much of Johnny's learning came from being part of the film and TV industry from a very young age. Crawford's career started for real in 1955 when he was picked as one of the first 24 Mouseketeers for Walt Disney's The Mickey Mouse Club. Even though he was only with the show for its first season before being let go from his contract, the experience gave him valuable training and exposure. Being part of this famous children's program at its start put him alongside other young performers who would go on to become very famous, including Annette Funicello and Bobby Burgess. Though it was short, this role helped start Johnny's career and introduced him to audiences across the country. In 1956, Johnny had his first big acting break when he got the main role in NBC's live broadcast Little Boy Lost, which aired on March 15th of that year. His touching performance in the emotional TV play captured audiences' hearts and showed his natural acting ability. That same year, he also appeared in the popular Western series The Lone Ranger, making his growing reputation as a talented young actor even stronger. These early roles opened the door to steady TV work throughout the late 1000s, 950s. Over the next few years, Crawford appeared in many different shows that showed off how versatile he was. He worked steadily, often with experienced directors, and frequently took freelance jobs, making him a face people recognized on TV during the golden age of television. His credits during this time included The Loretta Young Show, where he performed dramatic stories that let him explore deeper emotional territory. He also appeared in the police show Sheriff of Cochise, the CBS sitcom Mr. Adams and Eve, and the syndicated aviation-themed drama Whirlybirds. These roles showed his ability to move easily between different types of shows, comedy, drama, and action, at a young age. At the same time, Johnny started a music career in the late 1950s and early 1960s, becoming a teen idol and pop sensation. His smooth voice and boy next door charm made him a favorite among teenage audiences. He released several singles that found big success on the Billboard charts. His 1962 hit Cindy's Birthday climbed to number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, making him a real pop star. Other hits included Rumors, Abracabana, Your Nose Is Going to Grow, and Proud. These tracks captured the innocence and romance of early 60s teen culture, and Johnny often performed on music variety shows and live events, making his popularity even bigger. In 1965, Johnny appeared as Jeff in an episode of the beloved comedy series Mr. Ed about a talking horse. That same year, he released the single Am I Too Young, a touching song that connected with his teenage fan base. He also moved into movies, appearing in the adventure movie Indian Paint, where he played a Native American youth dealing with the challenges of becoming a man. He also acted in The Restless Ones, a Christian-themed drama made by the Billy Graham Group, showing his willingness to try more serious subject matter. In 1967, Crawford appeared in the classic Western film El Dorado, directed by the legendary Howard Hawks and starring John Wayne and Robert Mitchum. Even though his role was small, being part of such a major movie alongside screen legends made his reputation as an actor even better. That same year, he released the single Angelica, adding to his music collection. Around this time, his entertainment career stopped as he was drafted into the United States Army. Crawford served his country with honor for 2 years. During this time, he put his Hollywood experience to good use. He worked as a script supervisor, occasional actor, production coordinator, and assistant director in military training and information films. He rose to the rank of sergeant and was honorably discharged in December 1967. This period marked a change in his life, giving him structure, discipline, and a break from the demands of fame. Returning to acting in 1968, Johnny played a soldier in the Hawaii Five-0 episode By the Numbers. The guest appearance let him reconnect with audiences and reestablish his TV presence. In 1970, he acted in The Resurrection of Bronco Billy, a short film produced by his close friend John Longenecker, a USC film student at the time. The film won the Academy Award for Best Live-Action Short Subject, and Crawford's work played a key role in its critical success. The project showed his lasting passion for meaningful storytelling, even in student productions. In 1973, Johnny took a role in the unusual and partially animated film The Naked Ape, directed by Donald Driver, based on the controversial book by Desmond Morris. The film was a funny examination of human behavior and evolution. Johnny starred opposite Victoria Principal, and the cast also included Diana Darren, Dennis Olivieri, John Hillerman, and Norman Grabowski. The film showed his willingness to take creative risks in unconventional projects. He continued to make guest appearances in popular TV shows, including a 1976 role as Ben Shelby in the Little House on the Prairie episode The Hunters from season 3. This appearance introduced him to a new generation of TV viewers. In 1985, he played Noah Paisley in the acclaimed crime drama Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. This long-running series was among the most watched programs of its time, and Johnny's performance once again showed his reliability and range as an actor. After stepping away from mainstream Hollywood roles, Johnny turned his attention to his lifelong love for old-fashioned music. Since 1992, he led the Johnny Crawford Orchestra, a California-based vintage dance band that specialized in the authentic recreation of music from the 1920s and 1930s. Under his leadership, the orchestra performed at high-profile events, including 15 straight Art Directors Guild Award ceremonies in Beverly Hills, where their elegant and nostalgic sound was in high demand. In August 2012, the orchestra released their first album, titled Sweep the Clouds Away, a beautifully arranged collection that celebrated the big band era and showed Johnny's deep appreciation for early 20th century American music. For decades, fans of the classic Western TV series The Rifleman had wondered about the true nature of the off-screen relationship between its two beloved stars, Johnny Crawford and Chuck Connors. While their on-screen bond as Mark and Lucy McCain showed warmth, trust, and an unmistakable father-son chemistry, little was known about what went on behind the scenes. Johnny Crawford, known for his gentle manner and quiet grace, rarely spoke publicly about his time on the set or his relationship with Connors, causing years of rumors and guessing. But in one of his later interviews, Crawford finally decided to lift the veil and share deeply personal thoughts on the man who had played such a big role in his life, both on and off camera. Crawford began by expressing a deep sense of gratitude and admiration for Chuck Connors, whom he described not just as a co-star, but as a mentor and father figure during some of the most important years of his life. At the time The Rifleman was filmed, Johnny was a young teenager dealing with the complexities of child stardom in Hollywood. It was a world that could easily swallow up young actors, but Connors, already an experienced professional, took him under his wing. Crawford shared that Chuck Connors made it a point to protect him not only from the pressures of the entertainment industry, but also from the kind of adult cynicism that could destroy a child's joy. Connors went out of his way to make the set a safe and positive environment, setting a tone of discipline, focus, and mutual respect. Crawford's voice filled with emotion as he remembered how Connors often shared life lessons between takes, using stories from his days as a professional athlete both in Major League Baseball and the NBA to emphasize values like perseverance, humility, and hard work. "He never treated me like a kid," Crawford once said. "He treated me like an equal, like someone whose opinions mattered. That was rare in those days." He went on to say that Connors had an extraordinary ability to make people feel seen, and he used that gift to build a genuine friendship with his young co-star. The two would often rehearse lines together, discuss character development, and even play catch during lunch breaks, activities that deepened their bond beyond what was captured on camera. But Crawford also admitted that their relationship had complexities. Connors, with his towering presence and strong personality, could be intense at times. There were moments, Crawford admitted, when Chuck's perfectionism on set could come off as intimidating, especially to someone as young and impressionable as he was. Yet looking back, Crawford said he understood that Connors' drive came from his desire to make The Rifleman the best it could possibly be. He cared so deeply about the show and about doing right by the characters, Crawford explained. That intensity was part of what made him such a remarkable actor and storyteller. Perhaps most moving was the way Crawford spoke of the lasting emotional connection he maintained with Connors long after the cameras stopped rolling. Even after the show ended in 1963, the two remained in contact occasionally, and Johnny always held a deep respect for the man who had helped shape his early career. When Chuck Connors passed away in 1992, Crawford was devastated. Although he did not speak publicly at the time, he grieved the loss of a man he called a surrogate father. In his own words, Crawford described that loss as a deep and lingering ache, one that stayed with him for years and reminded him of just how deeply Connors had touched his life. In finally breaking his silence, Johnny Crawford gave fans a heartfelt, nuanced, and deeply human picture of Chuck Connors, not just as the iconic Lucas McCain, but as a real man with strengths, flaws, and a generous heart. Through this intimate revelation, Crawford didn't just set the record straight, he honored the memory of a co-star, a mentor, and a lifelong friend, closing a chapter of TV history with grace, gratitude, and love. In a touching chapter of his later life, Johnny Crawford reconnected with Charlotte Samko, a woman who had once been very dear to him during his growing up years. The two had originally met and fallen in love during their time as students at Hollywood High School in the early 1960s. Although life took them in different directions after graduation, Johnny into the spotlight of acting and music, and Charlotte into a more private path, the bond they shared during those youthful days left a lasting impression on both of them. Decades later, fate stepped in. In 1990, nearly 30 years after their teenage romance, Johnny and Charlotte found their way back to each other. This reunion was not a short one. It blossomed into a deeply committed and mature love. After rekindling their relationship, the couple spent several years strengthening their connection, eventually deciding to marry in 1995. Their marriage marked a deeply personal victory for both, grounded not only in shared memories of the past, but in the mutual support and companionship they offered one another in the present. However, as the years went on, Johnny Crawford's health began to decline. In 2019, it was publicly revealed by MeTV that he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a heartbreaking and progressive brain condition that gradually destroys memory, thinking, and the ability to perform basic tasks. For fans who had grown up watching him as the energetic and sensitive Mark McCain on The Rifleman, the news came as a painful reminder of how fragile life is, even for the most vibrant of childhood idols. The diagnosis was a difficult turn, not just for Johnny, but also for Charlotte and his close friends who rallied around him as the disease slowly got worse. Among those friends was actor and advocate Paul Peterson, who had known Johnny since their early days as child performers. Peterson himself was a former child star known for his role on the Donna Reed Show and had long been involved in protecting the rights and welfare of former child actors through his organization, A Minor Consideration. Deeply moved by Johnny's condition and the mounting costs of specialized care, Peterson took action in a very personal way. He organized a GoFundMe campaign to help raise money for Crawford's medical expenses. The campaign served not only as a way to provide financial support, but also as a powerful sign of the lasting love and respect the public and entertainment community held for Johnny. Fans, colleagues, and fellow actors contributed generously, expressing their gratitude for the joy Johnny had brought into their lives. Despite the overwhelming support, Johnny's health continued to get worse. He was eventually moved into a personal care home where he could receive full-time attention from medical staff who knew how to treat Alzheimer's patients. Sadly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Crawford caught the virus, a particularly dangerous development for someone in his condition. His weakened immune system and underlying health issues made him especially vulnerable. He also developed pneumonia, a frequent and often deadly complication for elderly individuals, particularly those suffering from brain diseases. After a difficult battle, Johnny Crawford passed away on April 29, 2021 at the age of 75. While the official cause of death was complications from Alzheimer's disease, the combination of COVID-19 and pneumonia had further damaged his health, hastening the end of a remarkable life. His passing marked the end of an era for fans of classic TV and American pop culture. Yet through his work, the love of his wife Charlotte, and the lasting support of friends like Paul Peterson, Johnny Crawford's memory lives on, cherished not just for his talent, but for the kindness, loyalty, and quiet strength he showed throughout his life, right to the very end.